Overreaction time, all right? The Pacers were expected to be in the upper tier of the Eastern Conference this year, but oh boy, it hasn't been that way. Is it an overreaction to say that Indiana now 4-13 on the road after losing to the Wizards, despite 34 from Paul George? Is it an overreaction with the new CBA expected to make it a lot tougher for superstars to leave in free agency? Does Paul George need to demand a trade from the Pacers? Does he need out of Indianapolis, Twan?
No, he needs to start to become the player that we thought he could be 2 years ago before his injury. And the player he was playing when he was going against the two Eastern Conference Finals against Miami. He's not that same player.
I don't know what his go-to is. Like, I was watching him against the Bulls the other night. He had a great crossover, gets to the lane, scores. Hits a really tough three. And I'm like, all right, he could do it all. But I don't know what is he awesome at?
He's a versatile player. I think what made him special back then, and you look at the Indiana teams that we kind of fell in love with, he had Lance Stevenson, who's very aggressive, who's a triple-double guy that took a lot of pressure off. George Hill, who was very good. Roy Hilbert was in his prime a little bit more. He gave them a lot of productive. David West was on that team as well. He played with some veteran guys that knew how to play. This is his team. He has to be the guy. I need them to put the LeBron James cape on, the Kevin Durant cape on, the Westbrook cape on, and look at the box score with 25 and 30 shot attempts a night. I think that's what he has to be. You got to be aggressive and score the basketball for them to be good. They're not a very good road team.
They don't play any defense.
So when you're not a very good road team, your best player has to show up on the road. He showed up tonight. He had 34 tonight, but it's not consistent enough for me. But I wouldn't trade him. He just has to be more aggressive. They have a good team on paper. It's a matter of putting it together. They're hovering around 500. Could you imagine they play a little defense?
What are they missing?
They're not missing anything to me. I think
Did they make a mistake firing Frank Vogel?
I think so.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And obviously, when it comes to and you keep a coach that was on that same staff, something fishy went on. I mean, it's whether I don't know if they got tired of Frank Vogel's voice. Some of the players on the team. I don't know if Nate McMillan, gravitated more to Paul George and Paul George like him. Sometimes guys fall in love with the assistant coach. Look at LeBron James falls in love with T. Lue as assistant coach.
I'd be surprised that a guy like Larry Bird overseeing the whole operation down there would fall for something like that.
I thought he did a great job. He made a huge move. I thought Thaddeus Young pickup was tremendous. To get Al Jefferson to come off the bench, Jeff Teague to get a legitimate point guard. So he made the right moves.
I mean, in my mind, I think one of the biggest disappointments in the entire NBA, maybe even the biggest.
They're in the top three. I think them and Minnesota are the two teams that pop out to me right away. Minnesota's probably number one with them too. Indiana's been able to win some home games, so they've been able to keep themselves in it.
They're afloat.
So but as far as where they should be, no, this should be one of the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference.